He gives up 0.15 fantasy points per route run. That is truly elite. And also, speaking of, I'm used to quarterbacks throwing the ball over 30 times a game. He's on pace for 440 attempts, man. That's brutal. That's absolutely brutal. We got guys going over 600 now, so that's the real problem. We start our preparation by looking at the notable wide receiver corner matchups. We do have a great tool over at Fantasy Points and Fantasy Points data, where we're pulling in all the numbers in terms of the route number of routes run, alignment numbers. Are you at left, right, inside / slot, your targets per route run, your fantasy points per route run, and then we match that up with the corner that each receiver will likely see based on alignment numbers. But every once in a while, we have shadow situations here that we'll get into, and we have some data in terms of these corners. Obviously, we have where they line up. You compare that to the receiver, but we also have targets per route run in terms of, well, I'll put it into perspective here. Cam Smith, who is the right corner for Miami, gets targeted 27% of the routes he's run. Dudes are running routes on him, and 27% of the time they throw to his side. You compare that to let's go to Jalen Ramsey. 6.8% of the time they throw to Jalen Ramsey. And that's problematic, by the way, for someone that we'll get to. But we'll start up with some, couple of names here of note. Again, how about Mr. Malik Neighbors? We start there. This is just screaming. Malik Neighbors, massive advantage here. He should absolutely, positively crush it. Mike Jackson is the corner for the Carolina Panthers. I cannot help but do that T. thing. I also do it with T. Higgins. But anyways, Michael Jackson, Mike, is the corner, and he is giving up a very healthy number here, 0.36 fantasy points per route run. That's bottom 10 in the National Football League. So we also have scoring system in this tool, by the way, that looks at the actual matchup and then looks at the receiver's skill set to come up with an advantage score. And Neighbors is like top 5 this week in terms of the advantage. So we're starting Malik Neighbors this week. We're going on his props. We're going over. We're doing it. Next up, Amon-Ra St. Brown, who does have a volume problem, man. It's he's crushing, but it's a lot of it is touchdown dependent, basically. It's about those tutties, but very good matchup here for sure for Amon-Ra. Jalen Petrie, I think he's getting a little bit better, but he is their slot corner, and he gives up 0.35 fantasy points per route run. He gets targeted. I mean, he doesn't get targeted as much as the other guys, but he gives up production. So that is a good matchup overall for Amon-Ra. Now, you just got to hope that the Texans can put up a fight, because this is a real problem for the receivers for the Lions, notably Sammy Laporta. I'm used to quarterbacks throwing the ball over 30 times a game, basically. Right now, Jared Goff, I just looked it up. I just figured it out, but he's on pace for 440 attempts, man. That's brutal. That's absolutely brutal. We got guys going over 600 now, so that's the real problem. But Amon-Ra, he's awesome. He commands the ball. He walked into Lambeau wearing a disparaging Packers shirt, and they beat their ass, basically. Tank Dell is next up on the list here, up against Carlton Davis. Tank Dell, he looked considerably better last week, so you feel pretty good about it. We'll see about, obviously, Nico Collins, but Carlton, your doorman Davis, has been a pretty good matchup overall. You can throw on Detroit, especially those outside corners. Jordan Addison I was feeling that one last week, and it did hit. So he scored and it hit. So that's a win. Even though you would think I would feel better about it, I don't really, because once again, now you got Hawkinson back in the mix. And Addison is, I thought last week one of the big angles was a little squeaky wheel action here, because I don't think he was very happy with the fact that he did not hit our Thursday prop pick. It got back to him, basically. No, I'm kidding. But I think he didn't get a lot of targets in that game. He's not getting a lot of targets. They're kind of hiding the quarterback a little bit. But at the very least, when they do throw to Jordan Addison in this game, he'll be on Monteric Toast Brown. Who calls him that? No one but me. Why do I call him Toast? Dude gets roasted a lot. He's given up 0.34 fantasy points per route run. That's very, very good. Now, he'll be on Jefferson at times as well, but that is a plus matchup. And, speaking of plus matchups, do not think that you can stop Darnell Mooney. You might contain him every once in a while. But Darnell Mooney right now is wide receiver 12 in scoring. Granted, I think there's some other guys who have a little bit more per game, but I guess he's like wide receiver 20 right now on a per game basis. But Darnell Mooney is balling. He is uncoverable. Kirk Cousins, as I mentioned all summer, no one listened to me, but Kirk Cousins lobbied for Darnell Mooney. So we're looking good against Rico Payton, who is a replacement player. Basically, they just traded away Marshawn Lattimore, and Paulson Adebo is on IR. So we are looking good. Now, I don't know about Drake London, and we'll see about Drake London. I lost a prop on Drake London that would have won, giving me a 4-1 record on Sunday on the website on my top 5, but unfortunately he didn't. Well, he got hurt, so I took an L there, 3-2 over there. But Darnell Mooney, I was in on last week, by the way. Crushed it, absolutely crushed it. So love him this week again. Notable negative ones. You notice I spent a lot of time on the positive ones. We want to stay positive here, but I'll be a negative Nelly and tell you that you should sit DeAndre Hopkins this week, because my man's going to get certained. Pat Surtained, I don't know. Maybe we could work with that a little bit. Oh, he got certained, but that's probably going to happen because Pat Surtain does not give up anything basically right now, and he should handle D-Hop, quite frankly. I'm trying to find, here it is. He gives up 0.15 fantasy points per route run. That is truly elite. That is way better than even average, basically. So be wary of that one there. And also, speaking of Jalen Ramsey, who's right there with Pat Surtain, giving up the same number of fantasy points per route run, 0.15. He'll see a lot of Cooper Kupp. I would imagine we're good with Puka. He just got suspended last week, so that's where the alignment is. They'll spread these guys around, so it's not like a static situation. But here's another one, and Zay Flowers. I'm not feeling it this week. He has been a little scheme dependent, and he'll also see Mike Hilton, who is a veteran. And he is a badass right now. He is one of the stingiest corners in football, giving up just 0.15 fantasy points per route run. Also, Marvin Harrison up against often DJ Reed, a little Sauce Gardner as well for the Jets. I'm not feeling Kyler Murray this week. And then I'll throw another name out here, and it is somewhat impressive. CeeDee Lamb. Now, he could school the rookie Cooper DeJean, but technically that is actually a bad matchup right now, as he is giving up quite a bit, or not quite a bit, 0.17 fantasy points per route run, which is tied, by the way, with Joey Porter Jr., who will likely be on Terry McLaurin. So that's another extremely negative wide receiver corner matchup.
Thanks for watching, but don't let the betting insights end here. If you want an extra edge this football season, you can get a month of VSiN Pro right now absolutely free. That means access to our betting insights, analysis, and tools like our betting splits at zero cost to you. Click the link in the description to sign up.